Welcome to Glodden Online School. Now we introduce Glodden TAS 2015. TAS is the takeoff software for architecture and structure. It is used to calculate the concrete formwork, finish and so on. Double-click to open the software. Now we create a new project. We give the project name, for example, Castle. We choose the correct calculation rule of your country. Now we are in the operation interface. The left part is the navigation bar. There are three big steps for our working. The first one is project setting. The second is drawing input. In the drawing input, we need to create a 3D model. After calculation, we can go to the different reports. First of all, we check the project setting. We can insert the floor and we can set up the floor height. And we also can set up different concrete grade for the elements based on the drawings. After the project setting, now we go to the drawing input. In Glodden TAS software, we have three ways to create a 3D model. The first way is we can use the manual way to use the basic functions step by step based on your drawings. The second way is if you have a 3D model from Revit or ArchiCAD, we can import the IFC model, and after customization we can do the calculation. The third way is if you have CAD drawings, we can use the CAD auto identification. Today we mainly introduce the CAD identification. Now we enter drawings. These are DW drawings from AutoCAD. Now we click the drawing, find the drawing that you want. First floor. Now we identify the column first. 3 steps, pick up the column side line. To get the correct location and size of the column, then pick up the column label. We can get the column name. After that, we use auto identification. Now we get 28 column. Now we check the 3D view. Now we calculate the quantity. Okay. First we can view the quantity together. In the report we can get the column name, the volume, and the formwork, as well as the total volume for all the columns. All the data can export to Excel. Then we go to the next element, the isolated foundation. The same steps. Pick up the side line, right click to confirm. Pick up the label, right click to confirm. Auto identification. Now we get 25 isolated foundations. We can check the 3D view. We know that in the project there is always banding under the footings. Now we create new area banding. We give the thickness 100 mm. We draw the banding. We use auto layout based on the isolated foundation. We give the extension 100 mm. One click, now we can get all the bandings now. We check the 3D view. And the software also can automatically generate the earth. We give the slope and we generate the earthwork. Now we view the expression. We can check how the volume is calculated compared with the manual way. Now we also can view the 3D deduction. This is the original quantity. This is deduct the column, deduct the footing, deduct the padding. Because Glodden TAS has the embedded local calculation rule, that's the reason why we can get the most accurate quantity. We have finished the 3D modeling in foundation. Now we go to the ground floor. First of all, we click the relevant joins for the ground floor. Then we use the auto identification to identify the relevant elements. First of all, we pick up the column sideline, pick up column label, then use auto identification. Now we identify the shear wall in the joins. Pick up the concrete wall sideline. Then identify the wall. Now we can check the 3D modeling, the previous join, and identify the beam. The same operations through 3 steps. Pick up the beam sideline, right click to confirm. Pick up the beam label, right click to confirm. After checking, we use the identification. Now we can check the 3D modeling of the elements that we have auto identified. Now you can check the 3D modeling. Now we identify the slab. First of all, pick up the slab label, right click to confirm. Then pick up the slab opening line. And right click to confirm. Then identify slab. Now we can give the slab thickness. Then we get the result, 24 slab identification. Now we can check the 3D modeling of the slab. We build the 3D modeling of the stairs. Stair is the difficult element to calculate by manual way, but Gloden software we have embedded parameter-sized stairs. We can choose the stair that you want and change the relevant data. Then we draw the stairs to the correct location. Then we check 3D modeling of the stairs. Now we will the expressions of stairs. We can get you can get all the quantities that you want. For example, the projected area, the concrete volume, the formwork area, and skirting, and so on. Just now we have finished the 3D modeling of the structure elements. Now we go to the architecture elements. We will identify the wall, the door, the window, and do the finish. Now we identify the block wall. Pick up the block wall sideline. Right click to confirm. Then we pick up the door and window sideline. Then we identify the wall. We can check the 3D modeling of the block wall. Next, we will identify the door and window table first to know the sections of the door and window opening. We identify the door and window table and delete the unuseful rows and take in the data. After that, we will identify the door and window opening. First of all, we will pick the door and window opening label. Right click to confirm. Then we identify the opening. We got 20 door and window. Now we can check this result. Following, we go to the finish. before we do the room finish, first of all we need to set up different materials for the elements. For example, in the flooring we can give the material tile or cement. In the skirting we can give the material wooden or tile. After setting the material, then we create the room. For example, the first room is bedroom. Second room, bathroom. After setting up the room name, then we do the decorations for the room. For example, for the bedroom, we have the tile flooring, the wooden skirting, the paint wall finish, and the paint ceilings. For the decorations of bathroom, maybe we need to select the different materials. The cement flooring, tile skirting, plastic wall finish, and paint ceiling. Now we draw the finish to relevant rooms. One click, we can lay out the finish. Now we can check the 3D modeling. Here is the ceiling, here is the wall finish, the skirting, the flooring. Now we go to the wall finish and to check the expressions. This is the calculation formula. We can see clearly the deduction. First of all, you can choose the element that you want. Then we can get the report. In the report, you can see that the quantity can be classified based on the material name and different locations. Now we have finished the 3D modeling of ground floor. If other floors have the same elements, then we can copy the elements from ground floor to other floors. Now we select the element and copy to other floor. For example, we go to the first and second floor. Then we can check the 3D modeling of all floors. After the calculation of the whole 3D modeling, then we can get the final report. In the report part, you can see we have all kinds of different report formats based on your different demand. When we do the quantity checking, then we can use the function reversely check report. For example, we take the C7 column. We want to know the location in the 3D modeling. Then we can get the correct location and the formulas. If we find something wrong, we can change in the attributor very fast and easily. It is very useful in the way of in the variation orders. Now we finish the short demo of Golden Task 2015. I think you can get a general idea about the working philosophy of Golden software. 3 big steps: project setting, 3D modeling, and report. Due to the limited time, we only can show you some basic functions. Golden Task 2015 is a powerful beam takeoff software which can deal with RFC 3D model, DWG CAD drawing, PDF drawing, and JPG format. I believe Golden software can help you improve the working efficiency.